with another guy who's supposedly a franchise player, and Baker Mayfield, who, like Acho, shows up when he wants to. But he was on fire yesterday with 4 touchdown passes in the first half of the Browns' big win over the Titans. Finished with over 300 passing yards for the first time this season, and he hadn't thrown an interception in 5 straight games. Cleveland now guaranteed their first winning season in 13 years. Good luck. But after the game, Baker said, quote, "The job's not finished." So, Acho Hollywood, has Baker Mayfield proven he's a franchise quarterback?
Hey, I've been waiting for this topic, Sal, because I tried to tell you early on last week that Baker Mayfield was proving himself to be the franchise quarterback. I'm not going to say a franchise quarterback. I'm not going to say that Baker Mayfield could be the quarterback for any franchise. But when you're talking about the Cleveland Browns, he has absolutely proven himself to be the franchise quarterback. What do we know about Cleveland? We know that it's a hard place to play. We know that many quarterbacks have tried and very few have succeeded. But Baker Mayfield, against all odds, is actually succeeding. The Browns 9-3. They haven't won 11 games since, what, 1994? But really, Marcellus, I had to kick back and think about exactly why I'm right on this one. And I thought about this. Colt McCoy, remember that quarterback, 33 years old now, that just beat the Seattle Seahawks for the New York Giants?
Beast.
Where was Colt drafted? Oh, the Cleveland Browns went 6-15. Robert Griffin, you know, the quarterback that looked very competent on Wednesday afternoon football before pulling his hamstring? He actually had to sit out of a year because of his time in Cleveland and what that did for him. So what I realized is being a quarterback in Cleveland clearly must be harder than we think. And just like some classes get graded on a curve, I think that some quarterback play, specifically in Cleveland, needs to be graded on a curve. If Baker Mayfield just went out there and dominated a playoff team, which we know in the Tennessee Titans, 4 touchdown passes, 290 yards at halftime, I think it's abundantly clear at this point that Baker Mayfield is the franchise quarterback. I'm not saying he's a franchise quarterback, but he is the franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
No way. No how. His inconsistency makes this decision for you. He is not a franchise quarterback. You talk about grade him on the curve. How about kick him to the curve instead of grading him on the curve? Because this is not a franchise quarterback based on production. I have no issues with Baker Mayfield. I told you, I go back day one with Baker Mayfield when he was drafted into the NFL. I was a part of some documentary that he had shooting the life of Baker Mayfield, #1 overall draft pick. He came up to me, went behind the ears, "Oh, youngster." I said, "Yeah, I'll be in there because I'm an old dog and I'm a vet." I think I was left on the cutting room floor, but I'm still not taking a shot at Baker Mayfield. But his play takes a shot at Baker Mayfield. You can't erase all of the work, all of the body of work we've seen from Baker Mayfield over the years and throw that all out because of what we saw in one half. And yesterday was a fantastic half of football. It totaled out to be a tremendous game for Baker Mayfield and his resume. But let's be real about that. The first half of that game, superb, which makes you consider him being a franchise quarterback. The second half of that game, look, they had the huge lead. I get it. You're preserving that lead. But that turned out to be a 1-score game in which you only scored 3 points after the half. So it takes me to a conversation about Baker Mayfield because he's up and down. Just like in this game, he was hot, and then he was something less than. What about the Cincinnati game earlier this year? He was hot for the second half, but something else in the first half. What about the Pittsburgh game? Oh, he was just cold all the way through. What about the Baltimore Ravens game? Oh, nah, he was just freezing all the way through. So the point of this is, Acho, if you're a franchise quarterback, the doesn't matter. Are you or are you not? Right now, he's half pregnant, so he's not.
Here is the pivotal error that you were making. Remember, Sal, when we see a field goal kicker in Mile High Stadium out there in Denver make a 64-yard field goal, what do we consider? Oh, he's playing at altitude. So we kind of understand the elements that he's playing in regards to the success that he has. In the same manner, we have to take a beat and say, wait a second. Quarterbacks that go to Cleveland, they can't all be sorry. Like every quarterback that has played in Cleveland the last 2 decades, it's not possible that all of these Heisman finalists, Robert Griffin, Colt McCoy, Baker Mayfield, it's not possible that they just all sorry. So maybe we have to consider, Playing in Cleveland must be, to a degree, more difficult than we think. Winning in Cleveland must be more difficult than we think. Let's talk other sports. LeBron James, Marcellus Wiley, you know this. 11 years in Cleveland and how many titles? One. LeBron James, 2 years in LA and how many titles? One. LeBron James, 4 years in Miami and how many titles? Two. It took one of the greatest, if not the greatest, basketball players of all time 11 years to do in Cleveland what it took him 2 years to do in LA. Why am I saying that? Winning in Cleveland is hard. You have a quarterback that is winning in Cleveland. And what you want to do, Sir Wiley, is say, wait a second. Yeah, they're 9-3, haven't won 10 games in 13 years, haven't won a playoff game in 18 years. But you know what? I'm really not content with this. I'm just going to kind of throw Baker to the wayside. Oh, Baker is 290 yards in the first half and his 4 touchdown passes. I'm just going to completely disregard that.
Well, look, you need to disregard the fact that it's not called Mile High Stadium anymore. It's called Broncos Stadium. You know, update your notes, big dog, as you need to update your assessment of Baker Mayfield as well. Seems like you're doing a little too much updating because you saw one half of football and said, oh, that's all I need to know. Because Baker Mayfield's playing in Cleveland. And if you're playing in Cleveland, guess what, boys and girls? All you need to do is have 2 good quarters. Erase all of the rest of the ills that we've seen from you over games, over seasons from Baker Mayfield. There's still question marks about Baker Mayfield. Here's a couple of question marks. How are you going to fare against the good teams when you face them, Baker Mayfield? Now, yesterday, he beat the Tennessee Titans. Oh, great. But let's look at the Colts. Up and down, because there's a body of work that suggests that he has a little more work to do in terms of beating those same teams. Look at this. Completion percentage in wins versus losses. Is that the same player? Oh, what about touchdown-interception ratio? Same dude, Baker, the one on all the commercials? What about the passer rating? Oh, come on, Baker Mayfield. No way do you fall off a cliff like that. Yes, he does. 5 games this season, completed less than 60% of his passes. Only Carson Wentz is worse than that. But then he has 4 games where he completes over 70% of his passes. Only Brady and Herbert have more games than that. What does that tell you? The guy is all over the place. There is inconsistency in terms of how he performs. Even yesterday, despite having the gaudy numbers out there and looking amazing, this is a quarterback that still struggles against the blitz, still struggles against the pressure that he may face. So yesterday, who did he face? Tennessee Titans. Do people know that they rank 31st right now in the NFL in sacks? Well, he looked good against Cincy, too. Is Cincy 32nd in the league in terms of getting to the quarterback? So when he goes against a team that gives him all day to throw the ball, he'll look like the franchise quarterback. But Acho, that's not today's NFL. So what is he going to do week in, week out if you deem him a franchise quarterback?
Sel, here's the problem with you, bro. Man, I've known this about you. I've told you this before. You're the dude that goes to the grocery store. You buy up half the store because you know you be eating.
I ain't going to the store.
No, pre-COVID. You come back, Sel, and you try to carry every bag into the house at once. And then you go to reach for that one final bag, and what happens? You drop all the groceries because you got too greedy. That's what you're trying to do right now. You're like, wait a second. Baker Mayfield has us at 9-3. You know how unheard of that is? Like, so I was drafted to the Cleveland Browns. We went 4-12.
There it is.
9-3 is unheard of. You got these boys at 9-3, and you're still sitting here telling me that Baker Mayfield's not a franchise quarterback. And I get it, Sel. You got full screens. Well, guess what? Your boy got full screens too.
Let's go.
Baker Mayfield. Let's look at his career winning percentage compared to, I don't know, some other guys. Baker Mayfield, he's over 500 as a career starting quarterback. Matthew Stafford, what's that say? Oh, God, is that 46%? Derek Carr, oh, my God, is that 43%? Kyler Murray, he was supposed to win a MVP this year. What's that say? Oh, my God, is that 41%? So wait a second, Marcellus Wiley.
Yes.
Derek Carr? Kyler Murray, Matthew Stafford. I know that quarterback play isn't the only indicator of team success, but Baker Mayfield, in a harder city to win in, is actually winning at a higher clip than all all those guys? Make that make sense, please.
I'll make it make sense. This is a 9-3 team that you have lost your mind thinking that they're either undefeated or they're Super Bowl bound because you're not diving into the details of what a 9-3 team looks like. When the last time you heard of a 9-3 team that had a negative point differential? Oh, I'll wait. Nobody's in the studio but me, so I'll wait. Negative point. Hold on. Wait a minute. You've won 9 games, only lost 3, and you have a negative point differential? Curious minds want to know how in the hell you pull that off. Look, Acho, no, for real. I understand your argument now because you saved it, you buried the lead, actually, by telling everyone you were drafted to the Cleveland Browns. Oh, and now you're post-traumatic stress from your years there as a Cleveland Brown because you're the guy that goes back to the old neighborhood that was a mess and says, oh, no, man, look at it. They cleaned it up. Look at all this new stuff that they have. Look at all the resources they're plowing into here now. Look at the swing. They got one swing out there, a seesaw, only one seesaw, not 2 of them to even balance it out. Oh, they don't have sand down here, but they drew a perimeter for us to play in. You all excited about little things, big dog. I'm only excited when it is. And if he's a franchise quarterback, play like one all the time.
I got a question for you, Marcellus Wiley. At Columbia, your freshman year, did you have to take a history class? I'm assuming, like, you had to take history like everybody else in other colleges.
Yeah, we had a core curriculum. But we took core curriculum classes, yeah.
Great. Yeah, like everybody else. Now, you always make